It's a very special and unique dance.
It is, right?
And I think a lot of people are copying it, and everybody have fun with it.
Yeah.
Which part? Is this how you dance?
No.
And let's just say he wasn't having a great hair day. Someone left his mousse on Air Force One. And while Trump was getting awards, Biden got named the worst president in modern history. The consensus in D.C. is that Trump is already basically running things. Trump even called Biden last week to wish him a happy Thanksgiving. And the Democrats can't even get it together for a class photo. Watch.
Here we are.
He wrestled with this. He wrestled with this. He wrestled with these circumstances. He laid out how he wrestled with this decision. He said this weekend, he wrestled with this. This weekend, why the president wrestled with this over the weekend. He wrestled with it. He wrestled with it. He wrestled with it and made this decision.
The most tragic figure in American politics in my lifetime is President Biden. If he would have, in September of 2023, or August, said that he wasn't going to run, God, we would have won this election. And it wouldn't have been that close because we'd have had so many freaking talented people that were running. And he would be sitting here right now, getting ready to leave. On a high note, there would be naming commissions to figure out what we're going to name after him. I actually feel for Biden, and he knows that he up.
Remember how Harris built a backdrop for the Call Her Daddy podcast that cost $100,000? Well, the Call Her Daddy girl says it was a ripoff, and Harris paid six figures for cardboard.
Apparently, you can tell me, they spent, meaning the Harris campaign spent like $100,000.
I did see that.
You know about this?
It's hilarious.
To build the studio.
Yeah, that's not true.
Not true. To make it look like it was the studio that you used in L.A.
My studio that is gorgeous in Los Angeles doesn't even cost six figures. So I don't know how cardboard walls could cost six figures, but.
But do you think they did that? I mean, you saw
Absolutely not. With love to them. Oh my God, it was gorgeous, but like, it wasn't that nice. It wasn't like gorgeous marble. Like, no, that was not six figures.
$500,000 went to the National Action Network. Black churches are calling for the Reverend to be suspended from MSNBC. They say Sharpton put a moral stain on the integrity of the black church.
We appear to be in a transitional period where we are not sure about whether the ground we are standing on is solid, although the news media seems convinced that we are the roadrunner and the coyote has run over the cliff, and we just looked down and realized there's nothing under our feet, and now we are plunging to our deaths because the news media is always very circumspect. We don't know what's going to happen when Donald Trump takes over. Unfortunately, we can't see into the future, but we have to be prepared for all outcomes. I don't know how helpful it is to get us our pants this much this early.
Hey everybody, Tim here. It's happy December, winter in Minnesota, so I am working in a garage that is somewhat heated, but I have a couple projects I was going to do. I have to show them to you. I got a 22-year-old little E-Series BMW, kind of a neat little car, but replacing the switches here. If you look on this on the middle console, this is the window switches you're looking at right there. And they just didn't work anymore. Didn't pull them up. They're kind of plug and play. You can buy that part for $30.
Would you ever consider rejoining the GOP?
The party that's the most important for me is the American Party. I'm a part of the American Party. I love this country. This is the home of the free, the land of the brave.
I admire Mr. Musk. He has been involved in very important parts of American society, AI, SpaceX, and other kinds of things. Yes, he's on a different team, but that doesn't make me an enemy. I don't be automatically going to become a critic. It's like, hey, he has made, he's made our economy and our nation better, and our politics are different. And I don't agree with some of the things that he might say, but that doesn't make him, like I said, an enemy.
J.D. Vance isn't tinkering under the hood like Tampon Tim. He's in North Carolina checking in on hurricane victims.
My simple message to the people of Appalachia is that we haven't forgotten you. We love you. We want you to have the best Christmas that you possibly can have, despite the circumstances. And I know that a lot of people in this neck of the woods feel left behind and forgotten. I just wanted to make them feel that their government leaders actually care about them, because we do. And certainly when this administration changes hands in the next 45 days, we're going to do everything that we can to help people rebuild, to get them back on their feet, to bring some commerce back to this area, but most importantly, to allow people to live in their homes and do what they need to do.
I think you have seen more happen in the last 2 weeks than you've seen in the last 4 years, and we're not even there yet.
We, as Americans, have the capacity now, as we've had in the past, to do whatever needs to be done to preserve this last and greatest bastion of freedom. In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
A new Senate report says only 6% of federal workers go into the office 5 days a week. And if you don't count security guards and maintenance staff, only 1% of government workers do 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. 1%. Almost 90% of government office buildings are completely empty. So where is everyone? One manager at Veterans Affairs took a picture of himself working from a bubble bath. He called it my office for the next hour. And the only federal workers showing up to the office are having sex with each other.
Employees to have sex with each other at work?
Absolutely not.
So why is it that we have at least 15 Mountain Home, Tennessee VA employees who have allegedly had sex on the VA property? They've not been disciplined.
Those actions are reprehensible, extremely inappropriate. We also have seen every implicated person leave the VA, resign, and an investigation is underway across all of the leaders and individuals involved here.
Unless you don't have a brain above a single cell organism, you know that there is waste in the federal government. There's enormous waste. Cutting waste up here is kind of like going to heaven. You know, everybody wants to do it, but nobody's quite ready to make the trip.
That was until today. Trump finally got Elon out of Mar-a-Lago and sent him to Capitol Hill. And he brought someone special. And we're not talking about Vivek.
Elon, how can you spend today? How do you win over people who say Doge doesn't have any power? Do you think you can still...
Elon, how do you define success for Doge? Elon, do you want to see Democrats here?
The idea of reducing the federal employee headcount is not really about saving cost. Part of what you have is an overgrown federal government that is doing things that were never supposed to be done by the federal government in the first place. You look at the number of times in the last 2 years alone, or 2 to 3 years, that the action of a federal agency has been struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. So I think part of the project of thinning out the federal bureaucracy, that's less about the headcount expenses, and it's more about actually respecting the rules of the road in the constitutional republic.
And now the second richest man in the world is asking, how can I help?
I'm very hopeful about this. He seems to have a lot of energy around reducing regulation. And my point of view, if I can help him do that, I'm going to help him. Because we do have too much regulation in this country. This is the most important thing, a growth mindset. And we are the luckiest country in the world. We have all these natural resources, including energy independence. You've probably grown in the last 8 years. He has too. What I've seen so far is that he is calmer than he was the first time and more confident, more settled.
Executives from big pharma companies like Pfizer flew down to Mar-a-Lago this week to have dinner with Trump, and 47 brought a surprise guest. RFK Jr. came and sat down at the table with the big pharma executives so we can live fact check. Besides Maha, another topic of discussion, a cure for cancer. It was a 3-hour dinner, probably because of the fact checking. Meanwhile, at the FBI, agents are gearing up for a big clash with cash. Mr. Patel, Trump's pick for director, says he wants to turn the Hoover building into a museum for the deep state. And it's not going over very well.
I talked to a number of executives at headquarters who are absolutely have already polished off their resume as soon as Trump was named as winner of the election and are out there actively pursuing other careers. Their chief concern and what they're going to be keenly looking for, and we should all be looking for as well, is the degree to which a Patel in that position is going to impact the field offices. The clash is going to occur rather immediately. It's going to occur almost immediately. And again, this desire to do away with civil service protections, I'm sure the Agents Association and other law firms are ready to go on challenging that.
I do wonder what that means, the Trump-proof a state. Like, how do you Trump-proof a state in America? Like, what happens when you need the president of the United States of America for something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't quite understand what that means. Thinking about the policies, because when you say things like Trump-proof, you're going to end up looking like a hypocrite when, you need the president for something and you all in his face smiling and cheesing the same way, President Biden was after they called him a threat to democracy and all of these other things. And then he was like, welcome back, when it came time for the White House. So it's like, cut it out.
I do think we should stop trying to criminalize politics. But on the other, I think we should, both of us, because obviously, and the people don't like it and they're not going along with it from right to left.
Mexico, after getting threatened with a 25% tariff, just seized a record haul of fentanyl from the Sinaloa cartel. Trump hasn't even laid down the tariffs, and Mexico's getting their act together. Real men are back in D.C., and all the little critters are trying to clean up the mess before Dad comes home. But they want to throw one last pardon-palooza. They want Biden to toss a pardon blanket over the entire Capitol. Fauci, Jack Smith, Adam Schiff, even journalists. These jokers haven't even asked for pardons. Democrats are just assuming they'd want them because they know what they've done. And Biden's thinking about it.
I think that they're taking every opportunity here to explore the options they have left in the time that they have left in office to protect people who may be subject to that attack. So yes, I think it is absolutely a serious process they're undergoing.
Biden's leaving office in the wake of pardons, orgies, alcohol, empty office buildings, and bubble baths. What a legacy.